Hello there, I'm Juliana Michaels and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to take you on a tour of my craft room and how I store and organize my craft supplies. If you happened to check out my 2023 craft room tour, you might notice that not a lot has changed. There are some small changes though that I wanted to share, so I thought I'd do a full room tour and share everything with you. Along with small changes, I did make one rather large change, a makeover of the closet in my craft room. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, and I can't wait to see how it works out for me in the coming year as I begin working with a couple more companies in addition to Tim Holtz and Scrapbook.com. And I'm sure as the year progresses, my craft space will morph and change with me. Organizing my craft room is always an ongoing process. It's part of my creative journey as my interests change or the types of products I'm using change, how I need to store and organize them changes. But as I've shared before, it's also something I really love doing. And for me, an organized and tidy craft room makes me feel more creative. The products themselves are often what inspire me, so being able to see what I have is so helpful. This is where open storage comes in super handy. I tend to have the things that are most inspiring to me out where I can see them more easily. I then put my basic supplies, less used supplies, and less inspiring to look at supplies in closed storage such as bins, drawers, and closets. But even in the closet, you'll notice both open and closed storage as well. I'm still quite the purger, which I talked about in my 2023 tour, and I continue to have a box that I fill with unused or gently used supplies and then either donate them or share them with fellow crafters. When I have too much product, I tend to get overwhelmed and the creative mojo seems to leave. So a neat and tidy and a less is more approach is what works well for me. If you're interested in any of the storage and organization items you see in my craft room tour, you can find links to the ones that are still available in the description box below. When you shop through those links, it helps support me and I really appreciate that more than you know. If you have any questions about something you see in the video, feel free to ask me about it in the comments below. For those of you interested in ideas for storing and organizing your Tim Holtz products, make sure you check out my How to Organize Your Tim Holtz Supplies video over on the Scrapbook.com YouTube channel. The link for this is in the description box below. Now let's get on with the tour. So let's take a look inside my craft room for my 2024 craft room tour. At first look, if you happen to have checked out my 2023 craft room tour, you might notice that not a lot has changed. Still have the same tables and bookshelves and all that, but I have made a few changes, so I thought I would still go ahead and take you through how I have it set up this year and just kind of share with you some of the changes I've made. First up, I'm just going to go over to this IKEA dresser that I have that I kind of use as my cutting station. So I have my die cutting machine and paper trimmer there on top. And then in the drawers, I just have a variety of different things. So this is just kind of my junk drawer with all kinds of different things in there, pens and extra blades and all kinds of things like that. Next up, this drawer just has a lot of my punches and tools. And yes, Ziva is near, if you heard the squeak. Some more toys here, hot glue gun, cinch machine, some adhesives that I use when I'm die cutting, like mint tape. And then this drawer has all of my cutting pads for my various machines. And then I also have my little sidekick. I keep it in here. In this drawer here, I have my silhouette and some extra adhesives. And this drawer next to it, I have my Mink and my sticker maker and the deco foil products, which I don't use so much anymore, so I'm kind of debating what I'm going to do with those. And down on these lower, I still have kind of the heavier items. So this has a lot of my paints and these are like sequin mixes extras, refills of things. These are like my archival ink refills. I also have the extras of any kind of mediums that I have down here. Larger bottles of things like the rubbing alcohol and cleaners, and I put my paintbrushes over here. That's kind of a new thing. The totes that I have in here are from scrapbook.com, and they're one of my favorite storage compartments that I use in my craft room. I just really like how they hold the items, and then I, especially with them being in drawers, and I can kind of see down what's in there. And then I use the lids for trays to sort die cuts and ephemera and stuff like that when I'm working on projects. So in this drawer, I've got most of my sprays, and kind of have them separated out with the oxide inks and the distress spray stains. And then I also have my mica stains, some of the refills for my oxide inks and distress inks, which I don't have very many of those. And then just some extra sponges and distress crayons and some extra sprays. And then, I also have my swatches in here for my mica stains. So I have those in there as well. These little green containers are from Starbucks coffee mugs that I got many, many years ago. And I've just kept them, and they work just really well for storage. So there is the dresser. This is a new addition. I brought my sewing machine into my craft room, and this is an old kitchen cart from when I first got married almost 20 years ago now. And it has kind of traveled with us every time we moved, and now it is housing my sewing machine, and then I just have this little chair there. I would like to figure out another option for that someday, but for now that's working. Let's see. Next up, I guess we can go to my IKEA Raskog cart here. That has always, I guess I've had that for a couple years now, maybe 5 years now even. And I continue to kind of reorganize it, but most recently I have added in this tool organizer from scrapbook.com, which is really great for holding like your heat tools and things like that. So you don't have to worry about if they get hot. You can just put them into these metal cups and they won't burn or melt anything. And then I have my adhesives and spray, distress sprayer, and some other little tools that I use pretty regularly, really close by. I've got my scissors here, got my scoreboards and large stamping blocks, my Misty stamping tool, and then this is just I guess like a pencil organizer that I found on Amazon that works really well to fit in here with the heat tool organizer. And then I can, I've got my other tools and adhesives and things like that in there. On this second shelf, I've got another scrapbook.com bin with a lot of my adhesive rolls and some other little doodads. I've got a soft rag here that I use for cleaning, and then I've got extra sponges like distress oxide inks and regular distress inks. And then on the very bottom, I keep my smaller paper trimmer so that I can easily grab that. And then off to the side here, I've got a couple hooks where I have my brayers and a duster to pick up any kind of glitter and stuff like that. And then I also have a little roll here to keep my paper towels close by as well. Next, over to my desk. Nothing super exciting here. This is pretty empty right now because I'm not working on a project. But I do keep my various mats here. I've got my smaller glass media mat here, and then I also have this self-healing craft mat from scrapbook.com, and then I kind of interchange that with my larger Tim Holtz glass media mat, depending on what kind of project I'm working on. This little gadget, a friend of mine gave me that, and that's just a coffee mug warmer, which is super awesome for keeping my coffee or tea warm. And I've just got a little stand here that I can put my phone on or my iPad. And then this is a new little gadget that I got that's just a glue bottle holder that I've got from, I think it's called Make It by Marco. And got a few of their things recently that have added some nice touches to storage in my craft room. And then this is just a vintage stamp holder that I've had for many years. And then this is a tape dispenser from scrapbook.com with their mint tape on it. All right, so now going behind me here, this is just my IKEA calyx unit that's on its side, and I use the top of it as a work surface or a storage surface a lot of times. So I've got my switch die cutting machine there. That's a new spot for it. Not totally sure about how that's going to work out, but we're going to try it. I've got some of my non-distress ink pads over in this stamp and storage ink pad holder, and that tin next to it has I've just had this for a long time. I'm not this was product from Jelly Bean Soup from several years ago that is no longer available, unfortunately, but I use this to just kind of put my newer stamps and products that maybe just have come in that I got that I haven't had a chance to play with, like to keep them in there and just to kind of remind me to use them. And then I've just got this little pen holder here for my watercolor markers. And let's see, so down below here, this past year I've kind of gotten into junk journaling, so I decided to kind of devote a little bit of a section to that. So these units here are holding what I'm using like product wise for my junk journals. So these green bins here are just vintage storage bins, and I'm using that to hold a variety of my stamps and dies from various manufacturers. And I've got some Sizzix Bigs dies here that are more like Eileen hulls. Got so many great dies for doing little journals and things like that, so kind of been adding to those. And then these bins are from Target, and I've got quite a few of them, and this one is just filled with a bunch of my junk journal stuff, papers, and I don't know, just different things that I've been using to create and make those albums. And then this here is another bin, and this actually has a project in it that's started, but I need to finish, so we'll hopefully get to that at some point. This section here, these are some, Ziva wants to play. She's got her ball. These are actually ink pad holders. I have one here and one there. I've got two of them now, and they are obviously perfect for holding ink pads, but when you turn them this direction, they are perfect for holding these A2 paper pads from scrapbook.com. So that's kind of how I've been using them. And then behind there, I've got some paper holders with, you say hi, baby girl, with some 6x8 paper pads. And that's the same kind of setup I've got in this unit as well. And then this is also a new to me storage. I have been struggling with how to store my blending brushes, so I came across this storage piece from that same Make It by Marco, and I'll have that linked in my description box below as well. And yeah, so far I'm really liking it. So it turns and and it holds a lot of brushes, so it's kind of nice. All right, baby girl. Next here, I have one of the stadium organizers from scrapbook.com that I've shared about that in the past, where I'd customized it with some pattern papers. And right now I've just got it filled with kind of more like the everyday stamps and dies from scrapbook.com. They're alphabet dies and word dies and different stamps, but things that are more of like everyday stuff that I'll be probably starting to use now that the holidays are over. Below that, here I've got another bin that's got kind of more of like my fabric stuff. So there's felt, ribbons, thread, and things like that in there. And then down here are these 6x8 albums. These hold my scrapbook.com stencils, so I like to kind of just keep all of that together. And then this bin also has some more scrapbook.com items, and in here I've got the products that are more like winter related, so that, and like upcoming holidays, I think I've got like some Valentine's stuff in here, so that I'm kind of ready for the upcoming holidays and seasonal type things that will be upon us soon. All right. The next up is my Tim Holtz stamp and stencil and die storage. And the unit that they're on here is just a bookcase from IKEA. And these bins here, which I absolutely love, I've had for a very, very long time now, are from Hobby Lobby and unfortunately no longer available. But they have been one of my favorite ways to store my stamps and dies and products over the years. They've changed what I've held in there, but now they've got my Tim Holtz collection. And most recently, I added these dividers to it. These are tab dividers from scrapbook.com, and I just cut off the tab that was on them, and then instead of using the stickers that come with them, I added my own category labels using a Dymo label maker, and then just kind of came up with categories that fit me and how I wanted to organize things. So I think, it just kind of depends on what you have as far as like what kind of categories would work for you. But so far this seems to be working. So kind of anxious to see how this new system works for me this coming year. So right now, these bins that are on this shelf are more of like the everyday kind of things that I would use. And then in these bins down here, I've got a bin that's all my Halloween and another bin that's all my Christmas. And I just kind of have them on the lower shelf here since those holidays are past. This is my 3D embossing folders. And then in this bin, this is another new storage option that I came up for my Tim Holtz stencils. This is a tall, skinny organizer from scrapbook.com that fits down into this bin, but obviously you wouldn't have to put it in there. And it's the same kind of paperboard as this stadium organizer and the these medium envelope storage organizers from scrapbook.com. So you could easily customize this one with pattern paper if you wanted, but it works really great for holding the larger layering stencils and then the mini set ones, as well as the new element stencils. So I have those there now too, which I really like, because before I had these kind of in a different section or hanging on. I tried like having them on the loops, and that just did not work for me. I really like being able to, I do better when I flip through things. So that's kind of why I have a lot of this stored this way. And next up here then are the medium envelope storage organizers that are from scrapbook.com, as I mentioned. And I have also added the same kind of tabs dividers to these and added categories that I hoping will work for me at this point. So I do have my Halloween still out here, and that's just because for some reason there are quite a lot of the Halloween stamps that I use all year long, so they are out here, but my Christmas ones are put away, and I'll be showing you that here in a little bit. So just have different categories and the stamps then kind of sorted with those categories. So then up on these upper shelves, other than this, this is just like a stadium organizer from Tiffany, and this is holding my pops of color. And then above that is really just lots of just things I've kept. I kind of switched some of them out here and there. Like right now, it's got some of my Christmas makes from the years past. And I just kind of like to have this section colorful and decorated with things to just kind of keep me inspired. So now we're going to go over to this next section here. This was definitely in my video too from last year, with the Distress ink and oxide ink pad storage. That's from Stampin' Storage, and just absolutely love having those hanging there on the wall where I can see them and easily get to them because I use them quite often. This is a new thing here for me. This is a stadium organizer from scrapbook.com that I'm using to store some of my distress spray stains. And I just kind of picked out ones that were rainbow colored and just, I don't know, they just look really nice over here. I love it's kind of functional, pretty storage. And it also is kind of helping remind me to use them a little more often, because sometimes with them being in the drawers across from me, I kind of forget that they're there. And so this is a good reminder about that. This has just got my, just a coffee mug that I found that was fun to hold my Distress watercolor pencils. And then this is a my pin collection from the Distress ink pins. And we are still waiting for one more color. I just have an opening down there in the middle, just waiting to find out what the new color is going to be. This little drawer unit, I just kind of have here decoratively. I'm actually not using it to store anything at this point, but that's a retired product from scrapbook.com. And this unit that all this is on here is just another one of the IKEA Kallax units that I've turned on its side and uses a work surface on the top. I'm gonna go through here now. I've got my alcohol inks are in these. These are just some of the photo pieces from Tim Holtz, and I just have them in one of his little vignette files to store them. This section here has got some of the Ideology paper pieces. This is a 6x8 binder that has my ink swatches in it. These are just notebooks that I am working on organizing and to use to organize my Ideology ephemera. So I have gotten this one started, and it's got like my Halloween stuff in there, and then I've got the Christmas stuff from this year, and then I want to continue and add in some of the leftover Ideology I have from last year and the year before into there, so it's all in one place. These are just some envelope organizers that I've set. They're the 7x13 size from scrapbook.com, and those work really great for Tim's backdrop papers. So that's what's in those. And this next bin is just more Tim Holtz papers. I've kind of got them sorted by specialty cardstocks, alcohol ink papers, and things like that here in the front. And then in the back is another little bin like this that has the solid cardstocks. And then these that are the, what is it, 6x10 or whatever size it is. And then this one, or 6x8, I think. And then this has some of the 8x8 paper pads and some of my collage paper there. These little wood bins I've had for years. I think they were like they were actually planters. And this is like an old sewing machine drawer. And then in this last cubby here, this is the new tiered organizer from scrapbook.com that I'm using to store my Ideology in. And I really like them. These little pieces snap off, and there's a lid on the top. And then like these two units have sections in there that are divided. And I'll pull it out here real quick. Carefully. Okay. And so as you can see that like this snaps open, that lid comes off, and you just unlock the different sections. So there's another tier there. And so I'm using this to store my Ideology in. So the little separated ones are great for, some of these kind of items like this. They're also large enough to hold packages of the Ideology pieces. And then in this one here, I'm actually using the small and large embellishment jars from scrapbook.com to store all the like little bitty ideology bits. And this I'm actually absolutely loving because it kind of keeps all of them in one place and I can see everything really nicely. So that's kind of this is a new system for me this year that I'm really, really liking so far. Next, down on below here, this drawer, these are just more of those bins from Target. This has got my ideology. Well, it is some ideology stuff, but just surfaces from different, some of the tag boards and pieces like that, vignette boxes and frames and different things like that from Tim and other just things that I have in my stash here. This bin is full of my extra adhesives, so either liquids, tapes and foam squares, foam tape, things like that. So I just have some of that there. And these little drawer units here. In this one, I've just got some extra blending brushes, foam squares, alcohol ink, foam, blending brushes, and then just some of the different cleaners, blending solution, things like that. This drawer here has my distressed crayons, archival inks, my Sizzix luster wax, perfect pearls, and my foundry wax. So all of that, those kind of mediums are in there. Then in this unit here, I've got my distress embossing glazes. I've got my little embossing tin kit that I keep, my embossing inks and anti-static pouch in there. And that is a piece of paper that I use to help get the paint powder. When I pour it, I can use that to pour the excess back into the jars. So I like to keep that with that. And then this is kind of new as well from last year. Decided to move my mediums into a drawer. And so, some of these are still older ones because they don't have the label on the top, because the label on the top, it does really make it handy to figure out which one you need. And then I've got my just general embossing powders, just the silvers and golds and white and clear and all that down in here. And all right, so the last thing, but not least, is my closet. And last year I had mentioned about wanting to maybe do something with that. And this year, that's the biggest change in my craft room, is my husband helped hang some shelves in the closet. And so now I have a whole new section that I've gotten organized. So I'm just going to step back here so you can kind of see. So it's just a regular closet, and we just installed adjustable shelving. So there's brackets on the back wall, and these are just shelves that we got at Lowe's. And then I've got some of those extra bins on the bottom from Target. And then I've got, just different storage units that I'm going to get in here close and show you. So on this top shelf here, I've just kind of got some of my makes displayed. And same thing kind of on this shelf, mostly just kind of decorative stuff, but there's a little bit of some storage in here as well. This has got some like extra Christmas cards and things like that. Another one of those drawer units. Again, I'm not really using this one, but it just looks kind of cool, and it does help raise some stuff up off of the flat surface. And a lot of these like little things, like this is from Target. I found this, I think, this year, and I thought it was super cute, the little wheelbarrow. And that's just a planter that I've had for many years, and those are just extra background papers and stuff. And then back here, I have this really cool storage thing that I also just got from that Make It by Marco, and I'm using it to store my extra paper trimmers and Misty here. So Again, so far, like, that's been a super nice way to store and organize those. On this next shelf here, I've got some of my larger Sizzix tools, and this has got some my Sizzix cardstock and sorted by colors. And then these drawer units, I just added to these this year. I've always only just had a couple of them, but I just was starting to have more specialty papers, and I wanted a way to keep them a little more organized. And I love the drawers because when I use the papers, if there's any, like, if I cut any extra pieces or have any scraps, I can keep them in the drawer with the papers. And so I'm actually really liking that option. And then I use my Dymo label maker again to just label the different, watercolor, mixed media. So these are all, most of these here are my distress papers. So, I've got the wood grain paper, mixed media paper, and again, like you can see, I've got the scraps in here, so I can grab a little piece if I need it, or I can grab a whole sheet and cut it down or whatever I need to do. These are more, just got some generic craft paper, some Nina cardstock, LaserJet printer paper, and then I also have some other brands. These 3 units here are my scrap drawers. So in this top one, I've got like scraps from my scrapbook.com pattern papers. This one has scraps from my Sizzix cardstock, and this one has scraps from my Tim Holtz papers. And there's my Copic markers. This next shelf here, this is where I was mentioning my Christmas stuff. I've got my Christmas products from scrapbook.com and Stampers Anonymous, Tim Holtz, and if there's any other brands, then I've got them all kind of in this corner here. So kind of out of the way, because I'm not really going to be working too much on Christmas now that we're entering the new year. These are just some more storage units where I've got some products from Sizzix. I've been doing some work for them this year, and so that's been fun. And so I just wanted to keep any of the products that I needed for that together, so I wasn't having to hunt all over my craft room for it. There is my well-loved splat box. Kind of maybe need a new one of these days, but it still works, so we're all good to go. And these are some storage bins that I'm using to organize some other Sizzix products as well, embossing folders and dies and things like that, just to keep them together. And then behind that, I've got a couple other storage units. This is the small envelope organizer, and I'm using it to store like cards that I've made. I've also got some of my less used Tim Holtz dies there in the back that I'm ready to part with. So they're still here. And then another bin with more adhesive, lots of adhesive. So just kind of a way to keep some of that organized. Down here, got a bin with like extra electric, like extension cords and things like that. These are all the lids to my bins that I use. And like I said, I like to use these as sorting trays. And then scrapbook.com also has these smaller ones that are this, just kind of like to fit in one of the lids. And so, I'm going to just keep all that together. This is an extra bin for any upcoming products that I might be having. This is that same kind of bin. This is from scrapbook.com, and has these little dividers that can slide in and out, so you can use it to help separate things. And it also comes with a marker organizer, which is kind of handy if you need something like that. And I just like to use this because I can put the products in there. I can keep, like, this is all 49 and Market products, and so if I'm working on a project from them, I can easily just grab that bin and bring it over to my desk and work on it. So that's kind of something new I'm going to be trying this year. So next are just some more of the storage drawers. This has just got various, scrap chipboard, just different texture rolls. And then in this drawer, I've just got different materials that can be used for making flowers. And this is just more, a lot of junk drawer kind of things. These are just like extra storage envelopes. These are extra card envelopes. And this is more extra, these are the tab dividers that I used on for my stamps and dies. And then this has just got different kinds of organization type stuff, whether it's stamp sleeves or whatever in there. And then I've just got some extra storage bins here because I do like to use these bins to kind of corral together products. Like if I know I'm going to be working with certain products or a theme, like, I know I want to make a birthday card, for example, then I would kind of go through and grab my birthday stuff and I could put it in one of those and then take it over to my desk and work from that. And then this bin here is, I've had forever and ever and ever, but I've got some 12 by 12 papers and things in there for right now. And down here is just some more of the storage drawers or bins from Target. This has all of my Christmas ideology products in it, and this is another one of those tiered storage organizers from scrapbook.com. And like this one's got my Christmas ideology in it, and then I've also got like the papers and some extra die cuts in one of these little photo cases, things like that. And this next bin has my Halloween stuff in it, and I have bought a bunch of stuff here that's for a project that I want to make. So this bin's kind of a bit more full than my Christmas one. And then last bin here is more of just like the, there's some of the specialty, like there's some Easter stuff in here, and then just some other craft stuff that I've got, like, the Spanish moss and things like that to use for my projects. So that's it for my 2024 craft room tour and closet makeover. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking it out. And until next time, stay crafty, my friends. Thanks so much for watching. I'm so grateful for you. I was wondering if you could do me a quick favor and subscribe to my channel or leave me a thumbs up or a comment. If you're feeling extra generous, I'd love for you to share about my channel with your friends. All of these things help out us YouTubers so much, and it would mean so much to me to have your support.